It's time for
DodgerHeads.
high fly ball into right field. Dodgers have won it all in 2020. Shohei Ohtani, 50-50 club. Strikes him out. There's a drive. Shohei Ohtani. Freeman hits the ball. She is gone. Birthday party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into DodgerHeads Live, presented by DodgerBlue.com, part of the Medium Large Sports Network. My name is Jeff Spiegel, joined tonight by Anthony Witrado, here to break down the latest news and notes about our Los Angeles Dodgers, maybe a sprinkling of World Baseball Classic talk as well. So shout out to everybody joining us live on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter. We appreciate you. Those watching after the fact on YouTube or listening via podcast, Apple, and Spotify, thank you as well. Anthony, happy Thursday to you. The Dodgers are currently playing the Reds 6-3. Max Muncy with a 2-run home run last inning. So good news if you have Max Muncy on your spring training fantasy report. Bad news if Miles Caba, who is apparently a pitcher for the Dodgers, if you had him, I have bad news. He allowed a run tonight.
Yeah. Max absolutely obliterated that baseball he hit out against the lefty too, which is good sign. Up and to the right. But yeah, night game out there in Arizona for the guys tonight.
Yeah. Anthony's been advocating for Muncy to get lefty on lefty at bat. So a home run. I love to see that. I mean, I'm not joking, by the way. Miles Caba, C-A-B-A. That's actually the name of a pitcher that pitched for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I've never heard that name before in my life.
No clue.
Just right in between Cole Irvin and Kyle Hurt, who, by the way, Kyle Hurt, 2/3 of an inning so far with 2 strikeouts. So shout out to Kyle Hurt. We're going to talk Shohei Ohtani update. We're going to talk Blake Snell update. Some big news on the pitching front for the Dodgers. River Ryan, interesting conversation. Brock Stewart, timeline conversation, and then a ton of questions. That's the goal tonight. As many questions as we can possibly get to. As people are starting to realize, in the middle of March with the World Baseball Classic happening on the other side of the world, there isn't a ton for us to dig into every single time. And so we're going to have a little bit of fun at the end and answer some of those questions. But let's start with the biggest news, Anthony, in Dodgers camp, and that would be Shohei Ohtani. When I say in Dodgers camp, I mean it didn't happen in Dodgers camp. The biggest news for Dodgers camp, which is the Shohei Ohtani news. And we had talked a lot on this show, Anthony, about concerns that I had about how built up Shohei Ohtani might be by the time he comes back from the World Baseball Classic. Well, if you listen to anything I said about that, I have good news for you. There are no concerns. He threw a 4-inning simulated game, live batting practice against Team Japan, 59 pitches, 18 batters faced, finished with 7 strikeouts, responded after the game, quote, "Everything is going well in his prep." This was as good of an update, as important of an update as we could have possibly received from Ohtani in Japan.
Yeah, somewhat expected for me. I had zero concern about him going with Team Japan and possibly getting no Cactus League starts. Look, this is a thing that it wasn't sprung on the Dodgers in mid-February or early February, right? They've known this basically for like a year.
Yeah.
And so they've been able to sort of, figure out the prep situation for Shohei and how he was going to get ready, assuming he was healthy enough to pitch. So, I fully expect him that once opening day comes around, however it might happen, he's going to be built up to where they expect him to be built up to.
Yeah. I mean, 4 innings, 59 pitches, and we're sitting here on March 12th. We have
very good.
Just under 3 weeks to go until opening day. Or I should say just over 2 weeks to go until opening day. Like, I mean, I thought there was a world, Anthony, he'd be at like 3 innings. I thought there was a world where he'd basically be at this 50-ish pitch mark when he returned. The fact that he's already there, and even if this goes the distance, he'll have 9 days in Dodgers camp. I mean, if he's at 59 pitches today, there's no reason to believe he couldn't be at 80 to 85 by the time the regular season starts.
Which is where everybody, if he were in camp the whole time, that would be kind of the target.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, they've had they've known he was going to do this for a year or so, and so they've had this time to map out his plan, along with the Japanese team over there. So yeah, I think that they've, I don't think there was any worry on the Dodgers side that, like, would he be ready? Like, is he going to have enough time? Like, they've worked in how he's going to get his work. So that way, when he returns, even if they go all the way, like, maybe he makes a Cactus League start, maybe he doesn't. But he should be built up as a full-time starter. And what, kind of maybe what this tells me is, like, maybe he's serious about making a push for this Cy Young award.
Well, and it's interesting you say that, hey, the Dodgers have known about this, because the quotes that we got when he left were like, yeah, we have a plan and we'll see, was kind of the quotes. Because it was, the Dodgers were basically handing their baby off to somebody else and saying, like, here's the rules for how we want this baby treated and raised, but also recognizing when you hand your baby over to somebody, you don't get to dictate every second of every day. Right. There's a lot of history as far as what Team Japan's schedule was going to look like, when there might be opportunities for him to pitch, et cetera, et cetera. So I agree with you. I guess I would say there was maybe optimism that we would be at this point, but I think it's refreshing to see that it's actually come through and happened. Because I think the Dodgers were like, whatever he looks like when he gets back, if it's 3 innings, if it's 4, if it's 5, we'll make it work from there. But I guess I'm encouraged with the lack of certainty it seemed like they had at the beginning to know this is where we're at.
Yeah, I think it's more the Dodgers are always going to leave themselves out. This organization, this front office, this coaching staff is very deliberate about leaving room for whatever. Leaving, because I think they don't like to get pinholed or pigeonholed, into like, well, you guys said this and then this didn't happen, because that's what our show is, right? And that's the environment, that's the content and media environment that we live in today. Like, I think that 10 years ago, 15 years ago, a manager or a GM said something, and I think there was some understanding that, like, okay, things might not go exactly that way, but if it's somewhat close, like, we get what the person is saying. And now I think they deliberately leave themselves wiggle room on a lot of things they say, whether it's injuries or things like this with Ohtani being ready. And so, like, saying like, hey, yeah, we've given them the plan. The expectation is that it's followed, but, we'll see. We're not there. Totally. So, but yeah, I think things are going. I don't think anyone in the Dodger camp is surprised by this.
Yeah. Also, Ohtani reiterated that there's no chance he will be pitching in the World Baseball Classic. So more good news for Dave Roberts and the Dodgers there, putting that one to bed, even with everything else going on. Speaking of Team Japan and Dodgers pitchers, there was a funny little update and then unupdate we got today from Yoshinobu Yamamoto. In classic Dave Roberts fashion, a bunch of people post on social media, hey, Dave Roberts says that Yamamoto will start for Japan on Saturday versus Venezuela in the quarterfinals, and then will return to Dodgers camp in Arizona immediately following that. And then, I don't know, 2 hours later, we get an update. Dodgers LOL JK basically was the tweet, because it was, hey, actually, he's going to just stay with Team Japan throughout the entire World Baseball Classic as long as they go. So for a moment, we're like, oh, he's going to pitch the quarters and then he's going to be back. To be clear, if he's starting the game in the quarterfinals, he would not be available to start the game in the finals based on the number of days and everything else that's going on. But pretty funny that Dave's like, yeah, he'll be back right after the quarterfinals, and the Dodgers are like, actually, he won't.
Yeah, so much for that wiggle room. Dave sometimes just talks.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. So
at least he's not Mark DeRosa.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get to that. We'll get to that in just a second. But, good news for the Dodgers. He's going to be pitching in the quarterfinals. That's kind of a fun game for him to pitch in. Also good news that presumably that will be his last appearance in the World Baseball Classic. And so the Dodgers are one start away from being out of the woods with any sort of Yamamoto drama, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I haven't looked exactly to figure out how that lines him up, but I would imagine plenty of lead time for him to be the opening day starter.
Yeah. So yeah, because he would be pitching Saturday. And so, from there you can kind of map things out a little bit. But to your point, he'll have plenty of time back in Dodgers camp. March 14th, by the way, is the quarterfinal. The 17th is the final. So that's why he won't be pitching in both of those games. Yeah. Speaking of that, by the way, we did get a Team USA roster update. I see some people in the chat have mentioned it. Clayton Kershaw will be on the roster I was trying to make sense of this. Will he be on the roster for the quarterfinals, Anthony, and then will be removed after it, or he's being removed from the roster immediately? It says after the quarterfinal was the Bob Nightingale report, which we love Bob Nightingale, friend of the show, not always great with the details here.
I believe it's following Friday's game.
Okay. Got it. So he's available for one more game, could potentially pitch on Friday, and then after the quarterfinal, he'll be removed from the roster.
Yeah, that's how I understood it. Maybe he'll get in the game.
Well, okay, let's just talk about Mark DeRosa. So,
yeah,
for those that have not been following closely the World Baseball Classic, one of the most fascinating storylines, maybe the most, is Mark DeRosa. This is the Team USA manager. Going into the game against Team Italy, USA's last game in pool play, they were 2-0. Italy was 2-0. And Mark DeRosa was on MLB Network. Was it the morning of the game or the night before?
Morning of.
Yeah. Basically saying, well, we don't need to win this game. So like, it was kind of like, hey, we obviously want to win because winning's important, but we also know like we don't need to win this game to advance. It was basically what a guy would say if we've already clinched making it to the next round, but we're going to try and be competitive in this game. That goes up on MLB Network. It eventually gets deleted. MLB Network says we took it down because we didn't want people to be misinformed. The misinformation was that he was wrong. That Team USA needed to beat Team Italy. Now, DeRosa would like you to believe.
No one corrected him, by the way. The people he was talking to, nobody corrected him. So DeRosa would like you to believe, oh, I misspoke, I miscalculated, but either I didn't know and now I know, I knew before the game started or whatever. Well, if you look at the roster that the Team USA put out there and the pitching approach that they had, it definitely did not seem like the type of lineup and the type of pitching lineup you would have if A, you knew you needed to win the game, and B, you knew that run differential mattered in this one, because with all due respect to our guy Kershaw, he was going to come in this game with Mason Miller having not pitched, which would have been bad if you're looking for run differential information. They lose. They end up getting bailed out by Team Italy because Team Italy crushes Team Mexico the next night. But what an absolute dumpster fire for DeRosa. Yeah. They've tried to walk this back a whole bunch that, before the game started, we knew the situation. Like, I just misspoke. Then he said that he was misinformed, which are two different things. Yeah. Then he let the cat out of the bag that the guys were drinking for a good part of the night, and I'm glad you added that,
because he said they were out late. The bus came to the stadium late because guys were out so late partying and celebrating the night before. Very important detail. So I'm glad you added that.
Yeah, he says that they were dragging the next day, and I mean, it was at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock local time start or whatever it was. So they had plenty of time, but still, he was like, he basically said like we had some guys that were hungover in there.
Yeah.
And then the starting lineup for me was like fine. Like, I'm not gonna bat an eyelash at Will Smith behind the plate instead of the big dumper. So I thought the lineup was totally fine. They're still miles better than Italy from a roster standpoint. It was how the game got managed in the game that showed us, yeah, dude, you had no idea. You thought that it was clinched already.
Yeah.
And, look, they're going on to the next round. But this could have been, it is an embarrassing situation, but it could have been disastrous for all of we're going to take this seriously and we want to get all our stars involved for Team USA, and this is the best roster we've ever put together for this thing. Like, we got the stars committed to this. And then had they been eliminated, where they essentially would have taken their own destiny out of their hands and handed it to two other teams, and had the outcome been different on that night, they'd be back at their spring training facilities right now, all the American guys. And so that would have been a complete, like, not just a failure, but a complete embarrassment.
Yeah.
And I think the only possible chance, this is my personal opinion, the only possible chance that DeRosa is back as Team USA manager the next time is if they win it all. And I say it like that because even if they win it all, I don't know that he's back. I think this is a stain. Like, this tells everyone, like, you didn't take this seriously and you're not a manager.
Right. I think it's a 0% chance he's back. I think they could 10 run every team from here on out. And the story from that game in Italy is pure incompetence. Like, and
And
I'm
it's
not saying that the rules of the World Baseball Classic aren't a little convoluted and a little complicated, and we're not used to run differential and runs per inning and all this nonsense. But like, I don't need to be, because I'm not paid for it. And I'm not like, DeRosa's not alone in this. Like, he's the manager. He's the guy who has to make the decision.
Right.
But like,
Right.
clearly there was a whole bunch of people on the coaching staff with Team USA that none of them were willing to say like, hey guys, does everybody knows we need to win tomorrow, right? Like, maybe we don't get wasted tonight. Maybe we don't set the late bus. Maybe we don't say it out loud that there was a late bus. Like,
Right.
all those things are proof that there's a ton of people that were misinformed about this. And again, it's either you were misinformed about the most important piece of information possible, or you're incompetent, and both of those are bad.
Totally. And both of them might be true.
Yeah.
And you're right. Like, they could go out and beat every team by 10 runs going forward and win this whole thing. But part of this story will always be this, even if they do that, this nearly didn't happen because basically incompetence.
Yeah. McLean and Yarbrough were the two starters that the U.S. ran out there to start this game. First two pitchers. And
U.S. and Mexico relations should be very, very good now.
Yeah, exactly.
Mexico did the Team USA a big favor by not showing up on that next night.
And shout out to Team Italy, by the way, because it's an incredible story. And I mean, Michael Lorenzen, who's a Colorado Rockies pitcher, we just talked about how good the U.S. lineup was. Nearly 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs from him. So, like, in a game that Team Italy needed to win, he was fantastic. And, man, the DeRosa stuff, what a mess. What a mess. The whole, like, there's no chance he knew they needed to win that game. I just refuse to believe it.
Not a chance. And it had to, he clearly, someone got in his ear, because I believe he had full intention of pitching Clayton Kershaw in that game.
Yeah.
And when Kershaw sat down and Mason Miller started getting loose, I think that was the point when somebody realized in there that, like, hey, this isn't good for us right now. Yeah. I also, from looking at it from a Dodger lens, I do consider this organization lucky now that they have a manager like Dave Roberts. Is he the best? Is he the best X's and O's guy? No. And we've known that for a very long time with Dave Roberts. But the attributes that he does bring, he's elite at. He's like the best in baseball at the things that he does well. And credit to him and this organization, because they hire very smart people to put around him in the dugout, in uniform.
Totally.
And things like this, you've never seen happen with the Dodgers.
Yeah. It's just pure insanity. So the U.S. is advancing. They've got that going for them. But they needed Team Italy to beat Team Mexico and score a certain number of runs. And that was the other funny thing, is then everybody's trying to figure out, like, wait, so if Italy scores 4 runs, then we definitely advance, right? And it's like, well, it's 4 runs, but like, if it goes to 10 innings, then it's not enough anymore. And they get to 5, and it's like, okay, well, if it goes 12, then it's not enough anymore. And it's like, good Lord. Like, I understand baseball, and, sometimes you don't play the bottom of the 9th and all this, but holy smokes, was some of that a mess. So whatever. Shout out to the U.S. on to the quarterfinals. So good stuff there. Before we go any further, let's pause real quick. I want to give a shout out to our friends at SeatGeek, who are sponsors of today's show. So here's a little word from our friends at SeatGeek. What's up, Dodger fans? This is Jeff Spiegel with DodgerHeads. And who is fired up to be at Dodger Stadium this year so that you can tell your grandkids you saw the Dodgers the year they went for the three-peat? If that's you, I have good news, because the sponsor of today's show is SeatGeek, and they have a special offer just for you. Now, if you've never used SeatGeek before, I feel bad. This is the #1 rated ticketing app with over 70,000 events, sports, concerts, you name it. And when you buy tickets from them, they are fully guaranteed. Now, the SeatGeek app is incredible to use, super easy. And if you are looking for Dodger tickets, this is the place for you to go. This is why when my buddy was coming to Arizona and needed some Dodger spring training tickets, I sent him a link to SeatGeek. So here is the deal. We have a code to get you 10% off your next order. And that code is very simple. It is Dodger Blue 10. That is right. Dodger Blue 10. Use the link in the description below and the code Dodger Blue 10 for 10% off tickets of your next order, only on SeatGeek. So shout out to SeatGeek. Thank you for supporting and sponsoring this episode. And of course, go Dodgers. Description. has the code, has the link below. I'll be honest. I went to go buy some soccer tickets yesterday, Anthony. Guess what I did? Dodger Blue 10, baby. And SeatGeek saved myself 10% off that order. So shout out to SeatGeek for not only paying the bills, but hooking me up with 10% off my order as well.
There you go.
You need Dodger tickets, you need concert tickets, anything you're planning on ordering, help us out. Throw Dodger Blue 10 in there and, get what you need. You got any events or Dodger tickets you need coming up, Anthony?
Unfortunately, I'd already bought my seats for the opening series a little earlier, but the next time I head out to a game, I'm doing this.
There you go. Good stuff there. So again, thanks to SeatGeek. They've sponsored a handful of our shows. We got one more on Sunday as well. Super chat here from Jedi Engineer. Where were you guys when Tommy won the Olympic gold medal? This was in 2000. Google tells me, Anthony. So do you remember where you were when Tommy Lasorda won the gold medal?
Oh man. Yeah. 2000
I do not, for the record. I do not.
Yeah, I mean, if it was 2000, I assume it was the summertime. I was being a reporter, baby.
There you go.
Yeah,
2000. Let's see. I was summer of 2000. What would that have made me? 7th grader? Going into 7th grade, finishing 7th grade, something like that.
I would have been like 19, something like that. So in college, working at a newspaper.
Was it 96? Some people are telling me it was in 96. I think this tells me it was 2000. So I don't know if that's wrong. I apologize. Google tells me 2000. If it was 2000, I was celebrating my 6th grade, finishing up and going into 7th grade. So there you go.
If it was 96, I was in high school, probably like a freshman, maybe.
In 96?
I graduated in 99.
Wow. Okay. All right. Touche. It is funny when you meet people that are like not that far apart from you in age, but then you go back like the 7 years or whatever that are between us from when we graduated is like, you're like, oh, I was a freshman. I was like, geez, I was in 2nd grade at that time. That sounds like, just an unbelievable thing. And then now it's like, yeah, I mean, we're basically the same. So love that. All right. Let's talk about a couple Dodger pitchers with some good updates, I should say. Let's start with one. Blake Snell. One of the most important Dodger pitchers, without a doubt, a guy that is not expected to be ready for opening day. We've known that for a while. But some good news. Threw off a mound for the first time earlier this week. And then today threw his first bullpen session, a 15-pitch bullpen. Dave this morning clarifying he's essentially right now at the beginning of a spring training progression, which Dave says puts him at a minimum of about 6 weeks away from being fully ramped up. If you do the math, I did. That's about mid to end of April, 20-ish games into the season. How does that make you feel, Anthony? 6 weeks sounds like a lot, but when I say 20-ish games into the season, does that change things?
Yeah, no. Honestly, probably a little earlier than I thought they might let him run out there.
Well, to be fair, it says minimum of 6 weeks. So
yeah,
I mean, this could be likely 8, right?
Yeah, I think they're really going to take it easy with them, in all honesty, because not just last year, but in the history of his career, like he's gotten better later in the season, and there's been plenty of injury stoppages in those seasons too. And so I think they're just like, man, take your time. Like you hit your foot's all the way down on the gas come September and rolling into October, and we're good with that. And if that means we need to start you in May, we'll start you in May.
Yeah, I'm with you. When I see 6 weeks, I'm like, let's do 8. Like, let's just call it good
right.
At 8. Because if we're talking, like, let's just shoot for May 1st here. There's no reason to rush things. And when I say rush things, there's not even reason to have him on a quote-unquote normal schedule. Like, once we miss opening day, to me, the difference between missing 20 games and missing 32 games is completely non-existent. I understand the desire to be out there on opening day, to be to make your first start. Like, that makes sense to me. But Anthony, to me, once you miss that, like once it's like, I'm definitely out for opening day, then I'm like, May, June, like who cares? Kind of a thing.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you. Like this team operates in a different capacity than the rest of Major League Baseball for the most part. Like, and with the 2 championships in the last 2 seasons under their belt, like they have even more leeway to like say like, okay, we're going to really slow play these things. Yeah. Because look, they've built a roster that is basically good enough to sort of moonwalk backwards into a playoff spot.
Yeah.
And then just bring out the big guns on you once October starts. And that's what they did last season, basically.
Yeah, I'm with you. Again, it's the only 2 months that matter for Blake Snell are the 2 at the end of the season. So obviously he wants to pitch a bunch. He's going to want to build himself up, get into a routine. We have some reason to believe he can handle like 150 innings. But again, if you're the Dodgers, that's not the goal. Speaking of this, and then I want to get to a mailbag question we got on social media. Some interesting notes about River Ryan. We've talked on this show, like what is the plan with River Ryan? How many innings can we expect as he comes back from Tommy John? Because he's looked really good this spring. Doug Padilla of the Southern California News Group wrote this, quote, "The Dodgers are still trying to determine a workload goal for right-hander River Ryan as he returns from Tommy John surgery. Quote, let him continue to build up and see where that takes us," Dave Roberts said. We've said on this show, like, he's getting built up in the spring. I think the most we've seen him pitch is maybe 2 innings, but he's developing, he's throwing. What do you think the Dodgers do with River Ryan?
I think if they had their perfect scenario, he probably I guess the situation would be like they would want to pitch him maybe starting in like, let's say May, June. Like real serious starts, kind of no pitch count limits. I'm doing air quotes there.
Yeah.
But like basically you're free. You're kind of off the leash for the most part. Now, does that mean he goes to OKC and he's just maybe making he's like an opener or something I don't know exactly how they're going to make that work. But it may come down to like that he's in the opening day rotation and they need him for a while. And then they'll put a little bit of a pause on it for a little bit and then bring him back. I think right now it feels like that might be the most likely scenario for him. It's really hard though to manage a guy's workload in that way when you might not put him on the IL in between time.
Yeah. So I misspoke. First of all, he's gotten up to 2 2/3. On March 9th, 3 days ago, he threw 42 pitches. So what's interesting to me is everything you just said makes sense, Anthony, as far as timeline, slow play it, build him up as the season goes on. But he threw 42 pitches on March 9th. Like it seems like he's ramping up right now. That to me doesn't seem like the type of a workload for a guy that you're not planning on unleashing for 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, and they may have, kind of read the writing on the wall with some of the other goings-ons with the rotation, some of those arms, Gavin Stone being one of them, and said, you know what, we're going to go ahead, we're going to start this now. Our expectation is that, we're going to have our full 4 guys ready to rock, after the All-Star break. Yeah. So you might not have a place on this roster anyway.
Got it.
So we're going to get you going now, basically. Like, maybe that plan changed a little bit because I know early in camp it felt like they were slow playing him a bit.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, that seems to be what they're doing, which is, all right, you're healthy now. We sort of need some pitching. Although, if you do the math on Robleski and Roki Sasaki, and if Ohtani's not going to need a piggyback guy, like
right,
need is in air quotes because it feels like you're still an injury or 2 away from actually like needing all of these guys to pitch. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see how this goes because I've said before, I would love for him to be available at the end of the season as a starter. And again, if the like, what do you think the workload is? Is it 100 innings? Is it 90 innings?
Yeah, 100 seems high considering what his previous inning totals were before the injury.
Yeah.
I would think like 80-ish.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, so 2023 was the most he's thrown in a full season across AA and AAA. He threw 104 innings. 2024 he threw 44 innings between between the minor leagues and the major leagues. But the reason I ask is because, okay, if let's say it's 80 innings. I mean, if you work backwards, this is a guy that's probably going to average 5 innings per start. At most. Like, I don't think it's going to be, if you told me over or under at 5, I'd probably take the under. So that could be 16-ish starts And if you're going on a 6-man rotation, like you can see how you space these 90-ish, 80 to 90 innings out, and it could get you most of the season. But I think one thing we both agree on is that if he's ready to go at the beginning of the season, barring like an actual true injury in the middle of the season, I don't see a world where he's still available for them in October.
Yeah, and they may be thinking too, like I know because I think early on in camp we were both like, yeah, it'd be great if he were the guy that was available in September, and then possibly a role on the postseason roster.
Yeah,
but there may not be any room for him
on the postseason roster. You're saying?
Yeah, once the 4 guys are healthy, 5 guys, like, because I'm putting Sheehan in that group. Like Sheehan's
Agreed.
a rotation guy. And then once the bullpen is healthy, like, I'm not sure where he would exactly fit. Now, I mean, he's good enough that like maybe you bump somebody else, but like if they're all healthy in the bullpen, like that's a really damn good pin.
Yeah.
And so they may be thinking like, you know what, let's just get him going now, and we'll kind of the situation might be fluid for him going forward.
Yeah, I think he'd be a guy in the bullpen, and we're obviously, if everybody's healthy, then we're squeezing out. But if 2 injuries away from, do you want Will Klein or Enriquez or one of these guys in there? And I'm like, I mean, River Ryan on pure stuff is going to be ahead of both of those guys, I think. So I think it's like knowing the volatility of relievers, knowing the potential for injuries. But I agree with you. When Evan Phillips is back, when Brock Stewart is back, who we're going to talk about here in a second, then I think it gets more interesting. But I do want to ask you a question, because this was a question we got from Carlos on social media, which we appreciate that from Carlos. He said this: last year, the Dodgers got 280 starting pitching innings from Dustin May, Clayton Kershaw, Tony Gonsolin, and Matt Sauer, who are all gone. Guesstimate how they fill those innings with bumps from 2025 numbers. So Snell only threw 61 innings last year. Shohei 47, Glasnow 90, Roki 36, Sheehan 77, Robo 66, and then you're mixing in River Ryan and Gavin Stone. So they've got 280 innings to spread around here. Now, we just mentioned Blake Snell. He's expected to miss the first 6 to 8 weeks. He threw 60 innings last year. To me, what do you think is a reasonable expectation for innings for Blake Snell this year? Is it 100, 110?
I would say like 120.
Okay, 120, being optimistic.
Yeah, I think maybe he can make 20 starts.
Yeah, fair. So that gets you, I mean, in keeping in mind six-man rotation, but yeah. So let's go 60 innings more for Snell. Then you've got Shohei. He only threw 47 innings last year. What do you think is a reasonable expectation for Shohei, who, again, when we say 6-man rotation, I think there's going to be stretches where Shohei pitches like what gets a break basically and goes 10 days without starting. That's my guess. But how do you see that number for Ohtani? 47 last year, 120?
Yeah, I think he's not the only guy that they're concerned. Concern is a strong word. He's not the only guy that would get that treatment. So they may switch it around. Yamamoto might get it a bit. Glasnow might get it a bit. So I would say, yeah, maybe 25 starts for Ohtani. I think is reasonable. And I would say give me 100 and I don't know what's 5 times 20, 120.
Yeah, well, that would put you at 125 innings if he's averaging 5 innings.
Yeah, I think 125 feels reasonable for him.
Okay. So let's go 75 there. So we're at 135 more innings just with Snell and Shohei. Glasnow threw 90 innings last year.
I want to say 150.
I mean, we all want to say 150 for Tyler Glasnow.
But let's say 120.
Okay. So 120. So that's another 30. I'm trying to look. I mean, he threw 134 in 2024. So there you go. Wouldn't be a career high. So let's see. We've got 165 now. So we've got basically another 115 innings to spread around. Roki Sasaki threw 36 starting pitcher innings for the Dodgers last year. How many do you think he makes this year? This is, I think, the most interesting one.
Yeah, I'll say I'm going to be optimistic here. I think I'll say 100.
Wow. Okay. So that basically gets you half the way there. I don't think it's going to be that many. I think they're going to rotate some arms in. That's my guess.
Yeah. And I'm with you. I think I'm being optimistic on like he's going to get regular turns in the rotation, which after the first 4 guys, I don't know, once Snell is back, I don't know that any of these other guys get regular turns in the rotation. I'm actually, if I'm being realistic, I'm with you on that. I agree. And so I think you cover the rest of that and then some between Roki, Ryan, maybe even Landon Knack, Robleski, right? Like that's 4 guys right there.
Yeah. 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 Emmett Sheehan was at 77 last year. Like, again, he's another guy. I would say like 110 feels like not too crazy of an ask for Emmett Sheehan.
Agreed.
Robleski was 66. That feels probably about right for me. If I had to guess with like Roki, Robleski, River Ryan, Gavin Stone, all of those guys, I don't think I'd put any of them above like 70 innings as a starter. I just think like
here's a question. Between let's say Roki, River Ryan. I won't put Gavin Stone in this anymore
because we don't know where his shoulder's at.
Robleski. Let's say between those 3 guys. If I'm missing somebody that should be in this mix, tell me.
Because Sheehan would be the only other guy, and we both agree that he's in a different category.
Totally. Yeah. Agreed. So between those 3 guys, how many starts do you think those 3 guys make total?
It's a great question. So let's say, you got Snell, Shohei, Glasnow, Yamamoto, and Sheehan. So those 5 guys. And I mean, I'll just do the math real quick.
Maybe you get 100 out of those guys.
What's that?
Maybe you get 100 out of those guys.
Yeah. So it's 26 total starts, I believe, if my math is right ish. 27 total starts. If you go 6-man rotation all the way through, the 6th man is going to make 27 starts. I think it's a really safe bet that the 5 guys in the front are not going to make every single one of their starts.
Sure.
So how many starts do they miss? I mean, at 30? Like, I mean, I'll go I could see the Dodgers needing 50 to 55 starts from guys not named Yamamoto, Ohtani, Snell, Sheehan, and Glasnow. I could see them needing 55 starts from that group.
So you think they make more than 100 starts between the 5 of them?
Yes, that's another way of putting it. So I guess that would put me at about 107 starts for the 5 dudes, averaging 22-ish, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, let's say Yamamoto makes 30, which,
right.
28.
Yeah, exactly. There's going to be some variance there. Yeah, like, if Snell makes 18, someone's going to make 27 and 28 or something. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm with you. I think that feels like a fair number.
When I say that out loud, it feels high to say those 5 guys are going to average 22 starts, because I'll say this, we still don't know what Emmett Sheehan's like ceiling is as far as like how many innings and starts they're going to let him make. If they would just be like, great, take the ball every 6th day, right? I don't think, and obviously Snell is going to miss a minimum of, what did I say, 20-ish games. So he's going to miss a minimum of 4 or 5 starts before we even figure out if he stays healthy the rest of the time or comes back as quickly as he could. Are we penciling in more than 22 starts for Glasnow? There's another, 6 misses. So I don't know. Maybe I would say like 100 starts.
I said 100. Yeah, my first guess was about 100. And I think it's fair because like Ohtani's been fairly durable outside of the elbow surgeries.
Yeah.
Yamamoto's been durable outside of the stint in his first season that he missed time. When Glasnow has been when Glasnow returns, he tends to pitch pretty regularly. It's just he'll always have that one big gap, and they're trying to make that be at the start of this season, I think. Sheehan has been fairly durable, and I think this year too the gloves come off on some of these guys now. Because like, for example, Ohtani, right? Like they were babying him through this. Same with some of the other guys. I think now as some of these guys get healthier and start to build up innings, another guy like Sheehan, I think those starts maybe start to come a little more. We're so what's the right word? Like we're so gun shy with these guys being hurt that like if any of these guys makes 25 starts, we're going to be like, whoa.
Yeah. You mentioned 25 starts. How many times in his career do you think Shohei Ohtani has made 25 starts?
Once, twice?
One time. Yeah. 28 starts in 2022. He made 23 in 21 and he made 23 starts in both 2021 and 2023. So he had a 3-year stretch where he made, 74 starts across 3 years.
And those are because I think one of those, the season was cut short because of the injury. And then on the other side, he's coming back from it, so he's not going to make those kinds of starts. So he's had like 3 seasons, or I guess 4 seasons, where the season was ended early-ish for him, and then when he did come back, he got handled with kid gloves in the season that he did pitch again.
Yeah. And I mean, looking at that, like 2021, like he was making starts in early April, but it was just the consistency of those was not necessarily there all the way throughout the season. And then he's making, starts every 6 days and skipping his time here and there. So yeah, it's a great question. I would love to hear from people in the comments. How many total starts do you think the Dodgers get from Yamamoto, Snell, Glasnow, Ohtani, and Emmett Sheehan? Those 5, how many total starts are you expecting? Because to Anthony's point, whatever that number is, if it's 100, that means you need 62 starts from Roki Sasaki, Justin Robleski, Gavin Stone, River Ryan, Jackson Ferris, Landon Knack, fill in the blank here, which is interesting. So there you go. All right, let's look at some questions here. Don't Care 187. Team USA catchers really don't like Randy. This was the one other storyline we haven't talked about, Anthony. I know Big Dumper has said, no big deal. We're good. It'll be fine. It is noticeable to me that Randy Arozarena has not come out and said any of those things in the media. In fact, he has refused to speak to the media since saying whatever he said right afterwards. I don't think this is done. Like, I think one half of this group is like, no big deal. It'll be fine. They're friends. We'll deal with it.
Yeah.
And the other guy's not saying anything and sounded mad last time we heard him.
I think it's done, but that doesn't mean one of the guys can't be pissed about it. And I think Randy's pissed about it. It's Look, they clearly had no beef going. I shouldn't say clearly, but it didn't feel like they had any beef going into this thing. Like Randy was like, he approached Cal Raleigh like they were buddies, right? Like they were teammates. And like not expecting like, oh, maybe I might get the cold shoulder here. Like he was like genuinely shocked that he didn't get the response he was looking for from Raleigh. And so that kind of tells me like there was probably nothing underlying before. And I'm sure it'll be fine once they're both back in camp. But yeah, like Randy was pissed. I think he got embarrassed, and like rightfully so, right? Like Raleigh put him in an embarrassing situation for sure. Yeah. Like I understand the feelings from Arozarena, like, okay, but it's a thing he can get over, and hopefully he's over it already.
Okay, maybe I'm living under a rock. Did you know that Will Smith snubbed Randy Arozarena in the World Baseball Classic in 2023? I had forgotten about this.
I saw the highlight going around after this had happened.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Will Smith also said after the Cal Raleigh one, he was kind of asked about it, and he basically said, like, I believe, well, maybe I shouldn't read it because I'm not, maybe I got fake, like some fake AI quote or something. But I thought there was a quote from Will Smith basically saying, like, Cal Raleigh told him he wasn't going to shake his hand, and then Randy Arozarena tried to shake his hand anyways. Maybe that quote's not real.
I hadn't seen that. Okay, interesting.
So maybe not. But I thought he said something on.
It's also like, let me just say this. I see people in the chat saying like, who cares? It's Randy Arozarena. Randy Arozarena is actually like a decent like player. Like he's a helpful player for the Mariners. It's also lame that Raleigh can't just bump his fist. Like,
yeah. Well, I was going to ask you that. Like, whose side are you actually on this thing? I think the Will Smith quote is fake, so forget I said it, by the way.
Okay. I guess I'm on Arozarena's side on this. Like, guys do this in the playoffs, like the Major League Baseball playoffs. Like, first batter of the game walks up, taps his bat on the shin guard or something like that, or they, an acknowledging nod or something like that. Like something happens, right? And that's in Major League Baseball playoffs. Like, Cal Raleigh, like you're so intense that you can't do this with the Arozarena in the WBC, a guy who was your teammate in the regular season. Like that just felt lame to me. Like, come on, man. Like you can at least acknowledge the dude.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like this just isn't that deep, guys. Like it's not that deep where you need to be the tough guy back there who can't like fist bump. Plus you're the catcher. It's not like you're like gearing up to punch this guy in the face. Like you're literally just gearing up to squat and stand there for 7 minutes while your pitcher throws baseballs to you. Like you don't need the adrenaline pumping through your veins where you have to outdel tough guys. So
And
shout out to Team USA.
Is it worth it, Cal, to possibly offend your teammate who you got to play with all summer long and probably play into the playoffs with? Iris in the chat makes a really good point, or not a good point, but like an interesting comparison. Like, how would we feel if Will Smith was playing for Team USA, who he is playing for Team USA, and someone, she says Teo, if Teo came and he was playing for the DR and did that and Will Smith ignored him that way, like we'd all be like, oh, yeah, come on, Will. That's not cool, man.
100%. 100%. That's a great comp, Iris, because I think it does shed light on like, what are we doing here? This is so ridiculous. Yeah. So, and again, I don't think it's nothing. Like, I think Randy Arozarena is pissed. I think he felt disrespected. I think he felt like he got stood up on international television in a place where he's got his country on his chest, which is not nothing.
For sure. I like I said, I understand the feelings. I think it's a thing he can get over, but I understand that, like, yeah, I'm sure he was. Obviously, he wasn't happy about it. I understand why.
And I would say this: the most wrong person is Cal Raleigh for not reciprocating the fist bump. I'm not defending Arozarena asking for the fist bump either. Like, I think it's weird that he went to go fist bump the catcher for the other team. Like, I'm not saying that was the perfect move. But once the offer is extended, Cal Raleigh has to give him a fist bump. He has to.
Are you saying that? And I'm not disagreeing with you necessarily. Are you saying it's like, is it weird when they do it in the big leagues too? To you?
I think it's less weird when they do it in the big leagues. Like, these guys were just in camp together like a week ago. They're going to be back in camp in a week. Like, they've just seen each other. It's a different thing if like Freddie Freeman's dapping up a guy at first base who he hasn't seen in 6 months. To me, that's a different scenario.
I guess like
why does he need the fist bump?
I mean, I dap up my friends all the time when I see them.
Yeah, you and your friend aren't competing on international television at the moment that you're dapping them up.
I mean, I guess, but I mean, they're also teammates.
You're definitely not, by the way.
They do this
definitely
in the playoffs.
No international.
Are the playoffs less intense than WBC pool play?
Look, I mean, Kike Hernandez says World Baseball Classic's a bigger deal.
Not in America, and the guy from the other country was the one who extended his fist out.
Yeah. Again, I think the most wrong person here is Cal Raleigh. I just am like, I don't know. I could do without like all of this stuff.
Even if we think Randy was like, it's lame that you do that, he didn't do anything wrong. Yeah.
I agree with that. I don't think he did anything wrong. It's not something I would have done. Like, let's go over that. Yeah. And Enrique says Kobe ran over Gasol in the Olympics. I'm with Jeff. What do you have to say for yourself, Anthony?
Classic moment.
Come on. Me and Kobe on the right side of history.
I will say this. I'll say this. I would fully expect and I would fully be okay with I don't know what the comp here would be, but like Fernando Tatis Jr. going in hard to second base to break up double play if Cronenworth was on Team USA trying to make the turn in a big game. I'd be like, hey man, you're playing baseball. Unless it was like something dirty.
Yeah.
Like,
so Tatis is probably the wrong example if we're crossing out really dirty moves here. Maybe we got to go with somebody else. But
Yeah. But I mean, you know what I mean? Like, two dudes. And I said that because they're teammates, but like in all honesty, like anyone in this tournament who did that, like I'd be okay with. Like, that's, you're trying to win the game. I get that. Randy Arozarena wasn't interrupting anything that Cal Raleigh was doing to try to win that game.
Yeah. Jedi Engineer says, I'd rather it happen during warm-ups, fist bump then. I don't know what, like, if both teams are on the field together during warm-ups.
Well, the catcher's in the pen catching the starting pitcher.
Yeah. That's kind of my point. Smile 51 with the question: did the clause kick in for Snell 90 days on the injured list? There was a clause in Blake Snell's contract that the last year of his contract, 2030, becomes a $10 million club option if Blake Snell has not been traded and has spent 90 days or more on the injured list for a specific injury. he met that criteria last year. He spent 119 days on the injured list last year for an injury. So yes, the clause has already kicked in. 2030 is a club option for the Dodgers. That would be Blake Snell's age 37 season. J-Rod says, I wouldn't dab the enemy. Cal is good. So there you go. Again, I think the Teo one lands it a little more close to home, makes it a little more personal for us as Dodgers fans. But yeah, it's good. It's good back and forth. Last thing here, and then we'll get to some questions. I mentioned Brock Stewart earlier. We do have an update on him, and I would say it's a good one. Second bullpen thrown today. His second bullpen with a full pitch mix happened this week. Next up for him would be live batting practice. Then it would be game action, minor league rehab type stuff. The headline is that he is on track to return in the first half of the season. But to me, Anthony, if he's throwing his second bullpen with a full pitch mix, because this is a guy who does not need to get built up to 50, 60, 70 pitches, I'm not saying he's going to be back by opening day, but like a month from now, if he's already throwing bullpens, make, an eight-day rehab appearance down in Oklahoma City where he gets 3 or 4 appearances. Like, to me, it feels like this guy could be back, by early to mid-May.
Yeah, his progression has been interesting because like when camp started, it felt like they were thinking like, oh, he might be like a mid-season kind of guy.
Exactly.
Yeah, and like I'm not sure if that was reported just maybe not with all the information, or maybe the team really did think that. I don't know, but yeah, this is every time we get a Brock Stewart update, it's like moving in the right direction, and it's like surprising from where it was, earlier when camp started. So yeah, this is great news.
Yeah. Reminder, Dodgers fans, our experience of Brock Stewart is a guy who got injured immediately. I believe he threw 2 innings for the Dodgers. As a reminder, the 34 innings he threw last year before the trade, 11 strikeouts per 9, less than 3 walks per 9, and a 2.38 ERA, which, by the way, the expected ERA was 2.35. So it was legit.
Yeah.
But the big superpower of this guy is against right-handed hitters, which make up most of the league. They hit 130 with a 221 on base and a 169 slug against him, and he struck out 6 times as many guys as he walked. So he is an absolute weapon against right-handed hitters. And look, the Dodgers have a bunch of guys that are lefties at the back of their bullpen. So adding a guy like him, a guy like Evan Phillips, a guy like Blake Trinan, they need a couple of those guys to be not only healthy, but effective in order to complement the lefties that they've got in Alex Vesia, Tanner Scott, and Jack Dreyer.
Yeah. I agree. I think that you get him back in the mix, maybe get Evan Phillips back in the mix, and then the lefties can be like lefties and don't have to all be like, okay, obviously they have to face 3 hitters, but you don't have to lean on them like that. Like this bullpen becomes like very, very scary for opposing teams.
Yeah, and look, if we're debating Will Klein versus Edgardo Enriquez for like the 9th or 10th best reliever, that says something, because I think both of those guys have proven that you don't hate it if they're coming into the game. Now, of course, there's going to be 1 or 2 bullpen arms that we all dislike that keeps getting thrown out there. The Luis Garcia Award for a guy who just eats a whole bunch of innings for this bullpen because of injuries, because of rest. But I agree with you. I think the Dodgers bullpen is in a great spot, and a lot depends on Tanner Scott. Can he bounce back? Can Blake Trinan bounce back? Those types of things. But can Evan Phillips get healthy? Can Brock Stewart get healthy? Like that's 4 big questions.
For sure.
But I don't think I think yes would probably be the favorite on all 4 of those questions. Like if I told you, is Tanner Scott more likely to bounce back or not bounce back? I think bounce back would be more likely. Blake Trinan, maybe not. But Evan Phillips and Brock Stewart giving the Dodgers something, come the second half of the season, I think, again, the favorite would be yes on both.
I agree.
All right, let's get to some questions. All caps questions. Throw those in the chat. We will get to as many as we possibly can. Again, shout out to everybody joining us live. We appreciate you. Every Tuesday, every Thursday, every Sunday. And if you missed the announcement, our next show will be Sunday night. Fabian Ardaya will be here with me. It'll be our first edition with him joining us just about every Sunday. So not quite because of Dodgers schedule and travel and that kind of stuff, but Fabian will be with me on Sunday. So excited to chat with him then. So make sure to set the alarm. 7:10 p.m. is when we will be here. All right,
as we get some questions in, there was a good note in the chat about this whole like, should you be nice to the opposing team when you play them? I thought it was a very feel-good moment. I think a lot of Dodger fans felt this way when Shohei was sort of, cheering on Kim when Japan played Korea. So that's an
Yeah.
interesting comparison too.
Yeah. I mean, the culture there is a lot nicer than it is here. But I mean, again, if Will Smith was cheering on a Teoscar Hernandez home run as the Dominican Republic plays against the U.S., like, I don't know. I'm just curious how that would be received in America.
Yeah, interesting.
And Ohtani can kind of do whatever he wants to do. So he also has that going for him. All right. We got some good questions in here. GI says, thoughts on Mookie trading with Yada Sensei? Maybe a few more guys throwing the javelin in the future. Mookie is working with Yamamoto's throwing coach. When Yamamoto came over, it was a huge deal. Hey, this guy's got some funky techniques. He's got a special throwing coach that does things very differently. Seems to be working for Yoshinobu Yamamoto. So your thoughts on Mookie tapping into that a little bit?
I love it. It's more than the javelin. It's Mookie, I think, trying to be more flexible, less weights, more dexterity stuff for him, especially as you get older, right? Like I'm old. Like, a lot of my workouts now are like, using my own resistance and trying to be flexible and things like that. Yeah, I think Mookie's on the right path here. I think it's a really good idea, especially with the position change. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I can't see a single bit of downside that there would be for something like this. Again, it's working for Yoshinobu Yamamoto. So, no complaints from me. Smile51 says, do we have a better or worse start than last year?
Worse.
What they go 8-0 to start last season?
Yeah, it's going to be worse. So, they're going to have a loss in there sometime.
I'll take worse. I'll take worse. Yang Yi says over under. Let's go 12.5 wins because that's how they normally do these. Over under 12.5 wins for Yamamoto, or excuse me, for Ohtani this year.
I'll go over.
How many times do you think he's gone over this number?
Oh man. Once, twice?
Once.
Yeah.
15 wins in that 22 season, then he's got 10, then he's got 9. I will take the under. I think there's a handful of starts where maybe he doesn't last 5. This is a guy who strikes a ton of people out, so the pitch count could get amped up a little bit. And, wins are just not a reliable start. There aren't. I wonder, I mean, let's look this up right now. I'm curious how many guys in Major League Baseball last year won 13 games. Do you think this is going to be, if you had to, I mean, I am giving you literally,
I'll say 17.
17 guys that won 13 games last year. There were 20 players in all of Major League Baseball. There were 11 that won 14 games in all of Major League Baseball last year. Like that's bonkers to me. 11 guys won 14 games. That just doesn't seem like a high number. 14 is not a ton of wins.
Not at all.
Nobody looks at 14 wins as like, damn, great season.
Yeah, right.
You would have been in the top 11 in Major League Baseball in wins last year. So let's see losses. Kyle Freeland, 17 losses last year. That's tough.
Ooh, that hurts.
5-17. Poor Colorado. Of the most losses, they had 1, 2, and 4. 5-17, 3-16, and 4-15. So,
you need 5 innings to get a win. You only need one batter to get a loss. Great
point. It's a fantastic point by there. So yeah, for sure. Oh gosh, poor Rockies. Enrique says, predict Yoshi's stat line versus Venezuela.
5 innings, 1 run, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk.
I was trying. How many innings did he throw in his last one?
4, I thought.
Yeah, I'll go 4 innings again. You said 1 run?
Yeah. I'll
go 0. 4 innings, 0 runs, 6 Ks. That's my prediction for Yamamoto. So I wonder what how big the favorites are in those games. Let's see. All right. Oh, they know US is -800 against Canada. Shout out to that. And then Japan is -175. So not a heavy favorite, Team Japan against Venezuela. Maybe we need to pound that, Anthony. Our guy Yamamoto -175. Come on, sign me up for that. Jedi Engineer, did you see the Mariners special snacks in 2026? The Moose Mouse looks so good. Do you see any of these?
I did not.
Okay.
Oh, is that are they the ones
Moose
who have, like,
Moose?
weird
Sorry,
taco?
it's the Moose Moose. The first moose is spelled like the dessert, and then the second one is like the animal. Yeah. Thank you. That was coming there. Let's see what we got here. Oh man. Okay. Top eats. Come on. We're loading it. We've got like a cruise ship, a state ferry boat souvenir, crab nachos with Old Bay fries, chicken tenders, and more. I mean, I'm immediately in on that. I'm into all that.
Yeah, that sounds legit.
The Moose Moose is soft serve in a cone or souvenir helmet garnished with moose cookies.
What are moose cookies?
Like a cookie shaped like a moose.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I could have done a better job. The Paroshki, beef and cheese, potato and cheese, bacon cheeseburger. Oh, what is going on here? These got to be different things. It looks like a hot dog kind of a situation. I don't know what that is. Somebody's going to get mad at me. And then we've got, these are like restaurants. Got it. These are restaurants that, you know what? I'm just going to be done here. These are all different items, I think, sold at one place.
They sounded pretty good.
Yeah. Thank you. Shout out to
the crab nachos. I might get 2 orders of that.
Crab. Yeah. For sure. Okay. Enrique, Ohtani or Bonds?
As a baseball player, Ohtani, and it's not even close. As a hitter, Bonds, and it's kind of not even close.
Yeah, I mean, steroids, Bonds. Like, again, every once in a while, and I despise the man, but every once in a while, you got to go look at those numbers. They're not real.
They're out of this world.
He had like a 700 on base percentage or something like that for a season. So
yeah. Incredible.
Jay asks, how many starts do you think Blake Snell takes for the regular season? Is 15 asking for too much?
No, I don't think so. I think
you're saying you would take the over on 15.
I would take the over on 14.5.
Okay. Yeah. Fair.
Yeah.
It's so hard to like just assume a guy's going to get hurt again. You know, it's like, okay, well, if this guy's making starts before the end of April, 15 starts isn't all that much. So yeah, I'll take the over. Enrique asks, who's the ring ceremony starter? Ring ceremony is
Friday.
Day 2, right?
Friday, yeah.
So
I would think
the opening day starter for the Dodgers?
I think it's going to be Yamamoto.
And game 2, Glasnow, Ohtani.
I think it's going to be Glasnow. And then
keep in mind, I believe they have an off day after game 2. Is that right?
No, they have an off. They play 3 and then an off day on Sunday.
Okay. Yeah. You're right. So then Ohtani on Saturday makes more sense. So you're going Glasnow game 2?
I think Glasnow game 2 and then Ohtani game 3.
Yeah, I like it. I agree with you there. Jake, great question. If they decided to use another manager for the next WBC, we both think they will. If Dave Roberts was on the table, would you want him to? In the middle of spring seems like a bad time to lose your coach.
Yeah, and that's probably why it hasn't been this. I would imagine so. I think they would be fine. But I wouldn't want him to do it.
Yeah. I think the Dodgers would be fine if Dave Roberts was out of camp for a couple of weeks. Is kind of my instinct as well. I've shared that, like, I think the World Baseball Classic is fun. I don't think it's like my life does not revolve around it. And so as a Dodgers fan, add my manager to the list of people that the less Dodgers participating in it, the better for me as a Dodgers fan. Yeah. So I see our admin saying Dave wants to manage the Olympics, not the World Baseball Classic. So there you go. Have they figured out what they're doing with the Olympics?
There might be a carve out for the Olympics. I would imagine in this new CBA, where maybe the season would stop as a whole.
That'd be crazy.
I don't know how you do it otherwise and expect big leaguers to play, because
they've done that for hockey before.
Yeah, hockey does that. They pause the season because, like, let's say you want your stars to participate in the Olympics. but regular season games that actually count in the standings are going to be going on without your best players. I don't think that's going to fly. Bryce Harper is a huge proponent of like promoting the Olympics. Obviously he said, something about like he thought the Olympics are better than the WBC, but like he's got a big voice in the union. And like, I think they're really pushing for some sort of carve out so guys could play in the Olympics.
Yeah. The Olympics are awesome. And Enrique adding, Dave said he wants to be the Olympic manager. So there you go.
It's in LA.
Yeah. Jay Weir says, how many years do you both project the Dodgers to be winners of the division before the current core ages out or the competition catches up? So how many more division titles in a row, Anthony, do you have penciled in for the Dodgers?
That's a good question. I am just so unimpressed by what other teams in the division are doing to try to catch them. Like, I think that the two teams that are closest to them in terms of like maybe they could make a push, or like right now as of today, are the Giants and the Padres. And I think they, to a certain extent, have incompetent front offices and bad farm systems. I would say another 5 years seems very reasonable.
Because neither of those teams is like building this juggernaut of 21-year-olds that like is going to be able to beat the Dodgers. Like the Dodgers have better farm systems than both of those teams as well. Like that's the thing you just have to keep reminding of yourself is like the Padres and Giants hope is that by the time the Dodgers guys age out, the Dodgers won't have good players to replace them. But the Dodgers' odds of having good players come out of their farm system in the next 5 years is higher than the Padres and higher than the Giants. The Padres keep trading away their studs. So, yeah, I mean, like Kyle Tucker, I'm not expecting to be bad in the next 4 years. I would not bet on Ohtani being bad at any point. Like Snell, Mookie, Glasnow, sure. Yamamoto is going to be a stud for the next 4 years. Freddie Freeman, I think, is going to be good for a few more years. Edwin Diaz, a few more years. Like, then you just go, like, Will Smith's going to be fine. You know, the pitchers that they have coming up, Sheehan, Robleski, River Ryan, Gavin Stone, Roki Sasaki going through, like, I would bet on the Dodgers. I don't know, like 6 years.
And the Dodgers keep making way better trades than those other two organizations do. And if you want to throw the Diamondbacks in there too, to like keep this window open.
Yeah. Yeah. So Blake slandering us in the chat saying
I saw.
Okay. Blake got invited. It's, so sorry, Blake. Okay. I'm trying to see. I think that's all we've got on questions. Okay. That's all I got. Yeah. All right. On that note, hour 10 mark. We haven't gotten crushed yet for talking about something for too long, I don't think. So we've got that going for us. People didn't like 45 minutes of Roki Sasaki talk the other night. So we left out all the other important Dodger storylines, I think.
Look, you guys got to understand when everyone, including all the beat reporters and the people who are participating in the camp, say this is a boring camp, sometimes you spend 40 minutes talking Roki.
Yeah, exactly. And again, to be clear for our guy Blake, the invitation was extended. Hey, we're going out. If you guys want to come grab food with us, let us know. And phones were on silent after that. So phones were on silent. The phones were silent.
Yeah, we said that we're leaving. You guys want to come? And they said, let us know where you go. And then that second night ended up being a very quick outing for you, Jeff. And then so after that, I just went to the bar.
Yeah, there you go. Dodgers 9-5, by the way, for those watching live. Teoscar Hernandez hit an absolute tank, and Kyle Nevin. Do we need to be having a Kyle Nevin conversation? He hit a home run for the Dodgers. So there you go. Let's see who's pitching for the Dodgers right now. Tanner Scott, the last guy to pitch. I mean, can I just read you the pitchers in this game, and then we'll be done? Cole Irvin and Miles Caba are the first two, and then you go Hurt, Gervais, Vesey, and Scott. It's like two guys you've never heard of. Well, Cole Irvin, University of Oregon legend, excuse me. Miles Caba, never heard of. And then Kyle Hurt, Gervais, Vesey, Scott. So good stuff there.
What is Tanner Scott? Okay, Tanner Scott, 3 1/3, 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts.
So he allowed 2 runs tonight, although it does not look like they are earned runs. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. Okay. Oh, this Ryan Fitzgerald throwing error into heaven knows where. And then there was a pass ball as well. So 2 runs allowed, but unearned. There you go. On that note, everybody, we appreciate you joining us as always. Again, make sure to hop in on Sunday night, join Fabian, welcome him to the team. We'd greatly appreciate that. And check out SeatGeek. Again, promo code in the description below, along with a link. So go ahead, Dodger Blue 10. Check that out as well. That is Anthony. I am Jeff. Folks, enjoy the rest of your night. As always, go Dodgers. And yes, still champs.